biggest opportunities I see today implementing artificial intelligence, generative AI into the public safety world, into the smart city world, where it is really changing the game.
Welcome to the Smart Cities Council podcast and its special series with our global thought leaders. Smart Cities Council Global Thought Leadership Team is an exclusive group of subject matter experts driving policy and standards, setting industry trends, conducting research, and building and sharing knowledge to advance our mission. My name is Fannie Meles. I am the Global Thought Leader for Youth Engagement at the Smart Cities Council. And today I welcome Steve Circon to the podcast, who is the Global Thought Leader for Public Safety. Steve Circon is a former Chief of Police and the President of Safe Cities Global, a business development and subject matter expert consulting firm serving public safety technology providers. Steve has also served with Accenture, Oracle, Amazon, and Ingram Micro as a public safety and security executive. Before the corporate world, Steve spent nearly 30 years in American law enforcement, finishing his career as Chief of Police for the City of Seaside Police Department in California. His experience has included service as captain, lieutenant, undercover detective, and SWAT team commander. Steve also served with the City of Bellevue near Seattle and the City of San Mateo in the San Francisco Bay Area. Steve sits on the Corporate Council of the Citizens Crime Commission of New York City and serves as Global Public Safety Lead for the Smart Cities Council. Steve is a graduate of the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia, and he holds a bachelor degree from the University of San Francisco. Steve has appeared on several American TV documentaries, including CBS 48 Hours and the Discovery Channel. Originally from Boston, he now lives near Sacramento, California. So let's start with an
Yes.
easy question. What does public safety mean regarding smart cities?
So, of course, smart cities is a collection of different solutions to make cities more efficient and safe. And so the public safety aspect of smart cities includes police, law enforcement, fire department, the medics, and the ambulances that respond to the emergencies, and corrections industry after the justice system. That's public safety generally. And it's sometimes referred to globally as public security, but that is generally what public safety is. And that includes, accident prevention, the solutions that go into this with the strategy, everything from accident prevention to crime prevention. 911 dispatch in the U.S. is 911 centers for emergency calls to the police and fire. It includes, speed of response, solutions to increase the speed of response by the first responders. It includes solutions for investigations to increase the investigation efficiency and speed. And of course, ultimately to help apprehend any criminals. That's generally what public safety is. And that's what I lead with the Smart Cities Council as a thought leader.
How do you translate that to the smart city? Okay, let's start first with the question, what does smart city mean to you? And then how do you translate this first response approach?
People ask that all the time. What are smart cities? Well, smart cities technology is a collection of solutions that make cities and communities, can't just say cities, could be states, nations, whole nations, to make them more efficient in serving the public and keeping the public safe and keeping the public moving, attracting tourism, attracting business, and of course, to keep the residents there. And this is everything from public safety, of course, which I am focused on, and also transportation, the airports. It includes sanitation, such as garbage collection, making that more efficient, healthcare, smart buildings for energy efficiency, all down the line. Everything you can think about in a service that is provided by government. Smart cities is to make them more efficient. I say smarter, of course. What is smarter? But for public safety, my focus, I always say that a safe city is a smart city because you can't be a smart city if you're not safe. That's that's my focus area.
Do you differentiate between safety and security?
Yes, and in some ways, the safety, of course, is all encompassing for the public when they step out into the street. Right? They step out on the sidewalk. They go travel by car, by public transportation, or wherever they may be. That safety would be not just security, avoiding accidents and crime, but safety of the building, safety of the roadways, the traffic lights, and all that. That's part of safety, public safety. Security, of course, being having the public be secure in their places of residence, places of work, and recreation, so that they feel the entire time they're in this particular city or this community that they will be safe. So feeling safe is very important. The perception of safety, how people feel, and then of course the reality of it, whether they're safe or not. And that's what security is to me.
Safety is an individual perception, while making people feel safe is security.
And that's my view of the world, and when it comes to security and public safety. Yes,
You also mentioned that providing safety and security is the government's role.
it's a combined effort here. The public really has to get involved with their local government, but ultimately, it is the number one responsibility of any government is to make sure that their people are safe and secure. That's that's number one, because without that, there's chaos and loss of life and injury, and it's not a good society.
Okay. And what has been your journey towards this area? Because based on your bio, you have had your experience with public safety throughout your different roles. Why did you choose this journey? Why did you arrive to public
Well,
safety?
when I was a young man in Boston, I decided to come out west to the San Francisco Bay Area, and I became a police officer for the city of San Mateo, which is right near the San Francisco, very close to the San Francisco airport. And I was a police officer there for about 9 years. I was on the street, and I was a patrol officer in the uniform. Then I went to become a detective. I was an undercover detective during the crack cocaine epidemic back in the 80s, and it was a very dangerous time for a lot of a lot of society. And then I eventually, after about 9 years, I went to the Bellevue, Washington Police Department up in the Seattle area. I was in charge of the SWAT team at that time. I was a team leader for the SWAT team for many years, and then I left Bellevue PD and came left there as a lieutenant and came back down into the state of California. And I was appointed as a captain coming from the outside for the city of Seaside, California, in the Monterey County. Monterey County is just south of San Francisco, and a couple hours drive right on the coast. And so I was there for about 8 years at the city of Seaside, and I finished as the chief of police for the city of Seaside in Monterey County. But while I was there, I was in charge of a lot of projects, technology projects, and frankly, at that time, I was still learning technology. I didn't understand the cloud yet because people weren't really talking about the cloud. Now I know a lot about the cloud. But what I noticed was that there they had some great technology. These companies would come in with some really smart people and they had great technology, but oftentimes they did not have somebody with the base knowledge of what a law enforcement agency does, how the end user uses that technology or would use that technology, how investigations go, how public safety is out on the street, traffic enforcement and traffic safety. So I knew that there was a strong need for people like myself to go out there and work with the companies. And I did. I started my company uh, a while ago, my LLC, now called Safe Cities Global. And I represented many different technology companies, everything from DNA analysis for law enforcement to uh, video, video surveillance systems. And then I went to the big companies. After, when I worked for my consulting company for a while, I then moved onward to the big companies like Accenture, Oracle, did several years at each. I worked for Amazon for almost 3 years, and that was a great experience. And Ingram Micro, which is the world's largest distributor of technology. So I got a pretty good view of how the the technology fits into certain cities. That doesn't fit everywhere. And so the public safety technology that I dealt with, that is part of the smart cities ecosystem, if you will, of bringing us a city to be safer and more efficient.
Based on your experiences, what do you think are the biggest challenges regarding
Uh,
public safety?
Today, I would say in the world of cybercrime, security, data sovereignty, zero trust, data privacy is probably the number one goal in the world today. Cyber crimes have exploded all over the world. Nobody is immune. There are many technologies that address this, and there are many threats out there. In addition to the police and the cities using these great technologies in corporate America, corporate global world, protecting themselves with great technologies, the criminals are using sophisticated technology to beat sophisticated technology. So they do catch up. And so the law enforcement world and the public safety world and the governments have to stay one step ahead. And that's a primary goal. And there are many different ways to address that. There are many different solutions out there, really good solutions, but they change every day, every week, and they have to keep up.
Unfortunately and fortunately, that's how technology works, that it evolves. And this brings us to the other question, the other side of this question. What do you see as the biggest opportunities?
Biggest opportunities I see today are in the area of implementing AI, artificial intelligence, generative AI into the public safety world, into the smart city world, where it is really changing the game. It is making all solutions more efficient. It is allowing the quicker development of these solutions, everything from cybersecurity tech to video analytics and traffic safety solutions, communications in the 911 dispatch centers, where, you know, we now have the ability to speed up this response of emergency responders to get to the scene because they get data faster from the 911 call or the emergency phone call into the dispatch center. They can get that data off to the responding officers or responding fire department or medics much quicker. They can, there's even the ability to stream live video back to the emergency room. And that's something we've been working on. So it gets back to a smart city is a safe city, right? There are opportunities everywhere. Of course, the threat of terrorism and violent crime are huge all over the world and here in the U.S., of course. So there are many opportunities for many different solution providers. And, at the Smart Cities Council, we are in the middle of that, on the spearhead of that.
People have sometimes questions how public safety is ensured and enforced by law enforcement, by government officials. And there are questions, there are digital trust questions. And Janid Islam already talked about the digital trust part for the Smart Cities Council because that's what he is responsible for as a global thought leader. What would you like people to know about how these decision makers, these law enforcement, first responders work with data? What would you like people to know about public safety?
There's just a mountain of information out there that people can find, but you want to find the right information. Let's start with a few of the key solution providers that I work with that are members of the Smart City Council, such as XQ Message, zero trust data sovereignty, addressing the security of the data all over the world, addressing GDPR in Europe and everywhere so that that data is secure when it is sent out of the origin where it was created. XQ Message is the company, and it's one I work with them on a regular basis, as I do also with Vantic, VANTIQ. They are a generative AI solution provider that speeds up the development of solutions all over the world. And this AI technology is changing the world. And it's an exciting time. So I welcome people to look at that. Go to the Smart Cities Council website, smartcitiescouncil.com. That's fantastic. Other solutions, such as the video surveillance solutions that are out there, Flock Safety. That's one of the greatest companies I've seen come down the pike over the last few years. Video surveillance, video analytics that really it's changing the game all over the US and they're growing greatly. So you really could keep just searching in all areas, but just look closely at the cybersecurity solution providers, look at the AI providers, the video providers, the traffic safety solution providers. And it really, when you do these searches, it'll give you a really good idea about how it's being applied out there for the cities.
Are you optimistic about public safety? Because you seem very enthusiastic about these technological changes. However, in the last few years, we have experienced a few concerning events when technology was used to spy on people, for example, to see whether they are leaving their home during COVID or whatever other examples
I'm
may be.
optimistic about public safety because of the tools and the tools, getting back to your question right there, any tool used by government, used by the police can be abused. So yes, it is possible that any type of technology could be abused and misused. So there are regulations in place for the control of that technology. There should be regulations everywhere. I don't care what country it is. Of course, we know some countries don't have any regulations and the government can do what they want. But the bottom line is, I look at technology just like an officer might carry their weapon, their gun, or their less lethal devices that help subdue people. That this is something that can be abused as technology can too. So we have to always be aware of that. It has to have controls in place, and the public has to be involved. And that's something I fully support at all times. In regards to being confident about public safety, I am in some respects for what I believe is that property crimes, such as theft and burglary, car theft, I believe is going to be on the decrease greatly because of technology. While crimes of passion and anger will always be present in human nature, that might not be, some of that will be abated through technology, but I believe property crime will decrease in the future. When it comes to cybercrime, uh, unfortunately, I believe that is going to increase. And I think we've seen that. And I don't think anybody disagrees with that. So it's something that all governments have to pay attention. All private business has to pay attention. All members of the community have to pay attention to it, protect themselves. And ultimately, I think all government leaders need to realize that AI powered solutions is the future and AI will ultimately save lives in addition to protecting your property. That's how I look at the public safety field now.
What can you suggest for someone who wants to learn more about public safety to start in this field? How can we learn more about it if we have absolutely no idea?
There are many organizations from communities that work with their local public safety agencies, both the police and the fire, and the local healthcare providers. No matter what community you are, at least in North America, there is always some type of community based organization that is attached to government, that works with government, advises government. I encourage everybody to get involved and contact your local police department and fire department on what type of programs there are. This is this is a growing field also. So the public has to be involved to complete the cycle. The police and the fire and the cities can't do it all. And the government, the federal government, state government, county governments, they can't do it all. They have to have the public involved. So I used to love talking to members of the community who just wanted to find out what can they do to make it better, whether it's through your local Rotary organization, those type of organizations, these community-based organizations who all they want to do is make the world a better place. For those that want to get involved in the field of public safety, public service, government, go to your local government websites, your federal government, your county government, state government, and find out what type of positions there are. There are many positions out there. And it's a rewarding feeling to provide public safety for your community.
Steve, you have been very generous with your time and answers. Do you have any closing comments or requests for the audience?
No, no, I just, like I said, look at the Smart Cities Council website, smartcitiescouncil.com, and the others like Vantic, XQ Message, Block Safety, companies like that. And and just get more informed on public safety. And it's a fascinating field, sometimes a very deadly, serious field, but it's rewarding. So please do that. And no, I just want to thank you for the time. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. If you want to learn more about Steve, links will be provided in the show notes, and the Smart Cities Council website can inform you even more. What have you learned from this interview? What questions do you have after listening to Steve? What would you like to know more about? Let us know on the Smart Cities website and on LinkedIn. Look out for other episodes with the global thought leaders or topical discussions, and thanks for tuning in.